every year, the NFL draft comes along and teams look to get better by selecting young talent. But not all drafts are created equal, and one above the rest has been the worst. And that takes us back to 2013. Teams were looking for their next stars and trying to improve, but the draft, well, it ended up sucking. We're going to take a look at the top 10 picks of that draft and who actually panned out or is even still in the league. And that takes us to Eric Fisher. Eric Fisher was the first overall pick back in the 2013 NFL draft, but he never got close to living up to his first overall pick status. Injuries were a problem for Fisher, and he had trouble maintaining consistency on the field. In his rookie season, Fisher started all 16 games for the Chiefs, but his performance was lackluster. He allowed 10 sacks and committed 9 penalties, leading to questions about his ability to play at the NFL level. Despite this, the Chiefs remained optimistic about his potential and continued to start him at left tackle in the following season. However, Fisher struggled once again and was eventually moved to right tackle. In 2016, Fisher had probably his best season to date, earning a Pro Bowl selection and helping the Chiefs make the playoffs. However, injuries continued to be an issue for him, and his performance continued to be inconsistent. Fisher was eventually released after 8 seasons in Kansas City and had 1 year with the Colts before signing with the Dolphins, but he didn't end up playing and landed on injured reserve. One of the biggest reasons the draft is probably so forgettable is because the first 2 picks were offensive tackles, and the next was Luke Joeckel. He was selected 2nd overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars and was supposed to be a cornerstone of their offensive line for years to come. Unfortunately, Joeckel's career was derailed by injuries and a lack of performance. Joeckel did start in 31 games for the Jaguars in his first 2 seasons, but his performance was underwhelming to say the least. He struggled with pass protection and was often overpowered by opposing defensive linemen. In 2015, Joeckel suffered a season-ending knee injury, which further derailed his career. The following season, the Jaguars moved Joeckel to left guard, hoping that the change in position would help him improve, but he just continued to struggle, and the team decided to decline his 5th-year option. In 2017, Joeckel signed a 1-year deal with the Seattle Seahawks, but he played in just 11 games due to injury. Dion Jordan was selected 3rd overall by the Miami Dolphins, but was suspended multiple times for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy in his time in the league. Jordan's career started off pretty well, as he recorded 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles in his rookie season. However, he was suspended for the first 4 games of the following season due to a violation of the NFL's performance-enhancing drug policy. In 2015, Jordan was suspended again, this time for the entire season for violating the league's substance abuse policy. Jordan was reinstated in 2016, but played in just 5 games for the Dolphins before being released in March of 2017. He played for the Seattle Seahawks, the Oakland Raiders, and the San Francisco 49ers after, but he hasn't been on a roster since 2020. Finally, the best player in the top 10, and probably the only one that has ever been truly elite, is Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson has had a pretty productive career with the Philadelphia Eagles, but he certainly hasn't lived up to the expectations set for a 4th overall pick. Injuries have also been an issue for Johnson, and he has struggled with consistency on the field. Johnson started in all 16 games for the Eagles in his rookie season, but his performance was inconsistent at times. Despite this, the Eagles had high hopes about his potential and continued to start him at right tackle in the following season. 2015, Johnson was suspended for 10 games for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing drug policy, but he returned to the team in Week 16 and played in the Eagles' final 2 games of the season. Johnson has been a mainstay on the Eagles' offensive line, earning 4 Pro Bowl selections and helping the team win a Super Bowl in 2018 and helping them make another appearance this past season. He's been good, but injuries have been an issue at times, and he probably hasn't lived up to being a 4th overall pick either. Back-to-back defensive ends went 5 and 6, starting with Ezekiel Ansah. Ansah was selected 5th overall by the Detroit Lions and had a promising start to his career, but injuries really hurt his career overall. Ansah had a breakout season in 2015, recording 14.5 sacks and earning a Pro Bowl selection. However, injuries have been a constant issue for him in recent years. He played in just 7 games in 2016 due to a high ankle sprain and missed 9 games in 2018 due to a shoulder injury. In 2019, Ansah signed with the Seattle Seahawks, but ended up playing in just 11 games, again due to injuries. He recorded just 2.5 sacks and was not re-signed by the team after the season. He signed with the 49ers for 2020, but suffered a torn bicep in Week 4 and hasn't played since. With the next pick, Barkevious Mingo was selected by the Cleveland Browns and was expected to be a dominant force on that defensive line. However, Mingo never lived up to those expectations and ended up bouncing around the league. Mingo played in all 16 games for the Browns in his rookie season, but his performance was lackluster. He recorded just 5 sacks, and like most of the picks before him, he struggled with consistency on the field. Mingo played 2 more seasons for the Browns before being traded to the New England Patriots in 2016. Then, Mingo played for the Indianapolis Colts, Seattle Seahawks, Houston Texans, and the Chicago Bears. Mingo did sign with the Falcons, but was released after a legal incident that the charges were eventually dropped, but he hasn't played in the league since. 7th overall, the Arizona Cardinals went with Jonathan Cooper, who was supposed to be a saving grace to that offensive line. However, injuries derailed his career, and he never found a consistent role in the league. Cooper suffered a broken leg in the preseason of his rookie season, which caused him to miss the entire year. He then returned in 2014 and started 11 games for the Cardinals, but his performance wasn't great. The following season, Cooper was traded to the New England Patriots as a part of the deal that brought Chandler Jones to the Cardinals. Cooper then played for the Cleveland Browns, Dallas Cowboys, and the Washington Football Team. He briefly was on the Oakland Raiders, but he never played a snap. Now, he may have not had a great career, but probably the most known player that went top 10 was Tavon Austin, who was supposed to be this explosive wideout for the St. Louis Rams. Austin has never lived up to those expectations and struggled with injuries and inconsistency. Austin played in all 16 games for the Rams in his rookie season, but his performance was, and stop me if you've heard this before, underwhelming. He recorded just 418 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns, leading to questions about if he was truly an NFL-level talent. Austin played 4 more seasons for the Rams before eventually being traded to the Dallas Cowboys in 2018. Austin has played for the 49ers, Packers, Jaguars, and was most recently on the Bills practice squad last season. He really was fun to watch at times, but ultimately was never consistent enough and just couldn't stay healthy. By far the worst pick of the top 10 was the Jets pick, cornerback Dee Milliner. Milliner played in just 21 games for the Jets in his first 3 seasons and struggled with injuries and inconsistency on the field. He was released by the team in 2016 and has not played in the league since. Warmack was selected 10th overall by the Tennessee Titans. Injuries didn't destroy him like the last few guys, he just wasn't good enough. Warmack started in all 16 games for the Titans in his rookie season, but struggled with consistency of play and penalties. He played 2 more seasons for the Titans before signing with Philadelphia in 2017, where he only played 3 games. After not playing in the league in 2019, he signed with the Seahawks and opted out of the season due to COVID-19 and hasn't been signed to a roster since. So if you can't tell, the 2013 NFL draft just sucked. The only guy in the first round who probably is a Hall of Famer is DeAndre Hopkins, who went 27th to the Houston Texans. I will say the second round was much better, with a few guys like Zach Ertz, Darius Slay, and Le'Veon Bell. Travis Kelce, Tyrann Mathieu, and Keenan Allen all also went on day 2. Then way later, David Bakhtiari, Micah Hyde, and Jordan Poyer all went. Overall, there were some good players that were drafted in 2013. But in the grand scheme of things, the 2013 draft was one of, if not the worst NFL draft ever.